You know what it is. Today we're checking out a saber from Damien Sabers. Oh yeah, we got another saber to check out. Look at this thing right off the bat. I didn't want to hold off on just like slowly opening this up for you guys because the hilt of this thing looks so cool. I have never seen a hilt like this before. Also, just gotta say real quick, I'm actually wearing my first Star Wars shirt for this channel. So far, I've been just trying to keep it classy, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw on my sporty tee here. So we got BD1 from, actually, this one is from Jedi Fallen Order. This isn't from the new one. This is actually from Fallen Order. So once again, this is from Damien Sabers. Of course, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description. They actually reached out to me, and when I looked at their website, they had a couple that they kind of wanted me to kind of check out, but this one kind of just stood out to me because when I checked out on their website, I was like, I have never seen a design like this before. At least, I mean, maybe there are some other places that do, but at least for me, I've never seen a design like this. So yeah, the hilt going from the top to the bottom, this one is kind of mimicking a little bit of like the Obi-Wan and kind of Luke Skywalker from episode 6. And again, I do like that look, just kind of that more simplified, kind of simple look. I mean, we all like our really cool fancy ones, you know, with all the sweet pieces and decor around it. But having a nice smooth one like this, it is really fun to play around with because it is, you know, just a little bit easier to handle, nice and smooth. And I like that very simple O-ring at the very top. The design and the art put aside, just the actual layout of the hilt itself, I think looks pretty sweet. And let me know in the comments, do you guys love this thing? Or, I mean, like, or is this something that you would enjoy using, just this design of it and the artistic side of it? Just because it does look, at least to me, again, it popped out to me, this thing is not something I have seen before. So let me know in the comments, is this something that you think is cool? But all the way down, you can see like it's almost got like this worn and torn type of look. All these kind of scratches going in on there, and then down towards the bottom, you know, where the main grip is for the handle, we have this just super intricate design going on through all around at the very bottom here. And man, that just looks cool. It is. It almost has a slight burn to it because it's obviously black throughout the whole thing, but then it's also got a slightish blue hue on some of those, almost like a little burn. On the button here, we have that kind of Imperial logo, which I think for this saber hilt does kind of match that. This one definitely looks more of an Empire-y, more Sith type design. So as I mentioned, this is more of a baselit hilt, so because of that, it doesn't have as many as far as effects go for the blade, but as far as Damien Sabers go, they said that this is their 3.0 version, so because of that, there is a few upgrades on the tech side of it. So for example, we'll dive more into it, but this one does have the Bluetooth effect, that way you can connect it to your phone, which based on my last reviews, that is a huge upgrade for being able to, you know, change any of the settings on your lightsaber. And then for the soundboard, you're going to be able to achieve a more precise motion control, and it's going to be a lot more sensitive, which is exactly what you want. And along with that, because it is more sensitive, it's going to be able to tell, you know, if you're swinging fast or slow. So again, being more precise on your swings. And it also has 3 light effects: steady, pulse, and unstable. This one is lacking just a tiny bit on the tech side, but overall, again, this is their 3.0 version, so it does come with some upgrades as well. So again, it's kind of in the middle, but if you did want to do the full-blown, you know, with everything, of course, they do have that in this saber hilt particularly. So if you did want to maybe upgrade to something, you know, more of a Xenopixel saber, and, you know, maybe of a Profi board, that way you would be able to, again, it gives you more options. Not that this one doesn't have some cool functions, but again, it is just a little bit lacking in some of those things. And on the website, they do have all of their standard, you know, like the Darth Vader and Yoda and stuff like that. But again, this one just stood out to me because I was like, hey, I have never seen one like this. Like, that is a cool design for the hilt. So before we go more into the hilt, let me show you just real quick what comes in the box. So a few of the things you get right away, of course, you got your extra parts and tools right here. Also got your USB drive for charging your lightsaber. And then we have our manual. And then we have our blade right here. This is a little bit of a lighter blade, so this actually is RGB saber, so it's more of a baselit saber. So it is a little bit more simplified. It's not quite as high techy. So because of that, the lightsaber blade itself is a little bit lighter. So just real quick, so you can see at the base of the blade here, so this one does not have, and I'm not 100% sure what you call it, let me know in the comments if you do. It's basically got just that connection, that way it connects to the hilt. And so again, this is just a baselet, so because of that, basically, as far as the light comes, it's basically just like a flashlight. So basically shoots from here and basically just sports out right there, compared to having all the, as far as, you know, of a more advanced blade, being able to get, you know, that solid color all the way through. All right, so now we got the blade on it. One of the pros I will say, as far as the blade, because of that, it is a little bit of a lighter here. So if you're looking to do some really crazy, you know, moves with it, that is probably a plus. And also because of that, probably less damage as well, a little bit more freeing if you're actually going to be hitting things with it. So we're going to go ahead and just turn it on. There we go. My initial reaction, you can kind of tell maybe just a tiny bit. So again, with the baselit saber, what you'll see a lot of times is that it's very bright here at the bottom, but as it goes towards the top, it starts to fade just a little bit. But actually, that's not bad for a baselit saber, to be honest. Of course, we got the motion. So again, with the 3.0 version, it's a little bit more accurate for as far as following your movements. That's not bad. And we do have the motion, I believe, ignition. So if we thrust forward, there we go. Again, that's one of my favorite parts, the motion ignition. So yeah, there is a little bit, so you can tell definitely for sure. You can see right here, it gets very bright, and then it does start to kind of dim just a little bit towards the top. If that's not a big deal to you, then, you know, you can save a few bucks by going with just a baselit one. But if you're wanting to have more of those accurate, like I said, if you have more of like a fiery blade, kind of like a Kylo Ren, it's going to be a little less intense. It's going to be a little less, I guess, flashy about it. All of the effects come right here, compared to like a Xenopixel blade. Basically the strips all the way through do that all the way through, so the light is literally coming from the blade itself and not just the base. But again, that just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, if that doesn't matter that much to you, then this will work just fine. I will say the motion is pretty accurate. We'll test out some of the sound, or the so if you can kind of tell, at least I can tell, I'm not sure if the camera's picking up that well, but you can kind of tell that it is basically coming through here. Again, with other blades, it's more of a flash throughout the whole thing. This one definitely looks more like it's coming from the hilt here. All right, I think we got a red saber here. There we go. And it does have the clashing effects. And that was pretty accurate. That was pretty sensitive. Let's try another one. There we go. And I know this is such a generic question, but like, let me know in the comments, like, what is your favorite color for a blade? Just because for me, again, when I was young and when Phantom Menace came out, I loved Qui-Gon, and I really thought I loved his green blade, and I still think green is awesome. But since I've gotten older, I've kind of gone back to like Luke's saber, kind of more of that lightish blue color. See if you can kind of hear it here. So it definitely does follow a little bit more of the sensitivity as far as your motion. I think the sound effect is a little bit less expanded, is the right word. A little less, less as far as like the amount of wave. It's just kind of a plain like voom, voom. Like, it doesn't kind of like change a little bit, but I mean, it's still not too bad. So far as pros go on this one, I mean, I'm taking away that, again, it is a little bit lighter because it is an RGB, and obviously the hilt design is amazing. And even though, it doesn't have as much of an array of, you know, sound effects and whatnot, I mean, it's still got enough to make it a fun blade. But let's go ahead and test it out real quick, because again, this one does have the phone app, and I really want to try that. One thing I will say right off the bat is at the very top, the battery life. Being able to see how much battery life you have left, that's a huge thing. And also for me is the volume level. So as we got right here, we can change it to go higher or lower and just power this up. There we go. Awesome. That's such a big deal. I love the app so much. Just turn it right off. Go back, turn it on. Dude, what if they had apps in the actual Star Wars universe for their lightsabers, like just on like a data pad, just turn it on, off, change the colors? That'd be funny. So right here, so if you do want to upgrade, I think it's possible for having an upgrade, so that's kind of nice too, where you can upgrade to maybe certain things. I'm gonna go ahead and change it right over to white. That's pretty cool. I think white is, and I think Ahsoka, she has white, right? Doesn't she? Like later on in Rebels. Ooh, listen to that. That's kind of an interesting sound effect. All right, let's switch it over. We're gonna go to blue. Go to light blue. Got green. Ooh, color change. That's kind of nice. So yeah, if you click that right there, it just cycles through, and then you just click it again to stop it. On through the other settings, you can adjust the flash and clash sensitivity. That's pretty sweet. Ooh, you can change the brightness. Change it really way low. That's kind of neat. I mean, obviously, most of the time, you'd probably have it pretty bright, but maybe if you're trying to maybe conserve your battery, maybe by turning it down, it would save it a little bit. Main blade length. Okay, it's not letting me adjust there, and again, that might be because, again, this is a baselit, so there's probably some features on here that won't work for this one, just because, again, this is a baselit saber. So having that Xenopixel saber, again, if that is a factor for you, being able to have more of those options, you know, that might be something you want. There's pros and cons for each blade. I actually look forward with this one. I think this one's gonna be really fun to just kind of whoop around, have some fun with, just because the hilt feels, it's got a nice grip to it. It's very nice and smooth. I mean, for decor, I mean, those really crazy fancy looking hilts, you know, with all the jagged pieces that stick out, I mean, they're cool, but they're obviously not exactly ideal for like swinging around. Over here on back to the main part of the menu, we have saber controls. So this does give you some of the effects. So let's just go ahead and click one. I'm gonna click the lock up light effect. All right, let's try drag light effect. Ooh, that's cool. Comparing to the Xenopixel saber, a lot of those drag effects, the dragging sparks like that would be probably more towards the tip here. A little bit more accurate with the Xenopixel, but with an RGB, it just kind of goes through the whole thing, as you can tell. This one's kind of nice too, that it looks like you can adjust the button settings as far as the buttons on the hilt, so you can adjust it for how long you have to hold it. I'm assuming that's what this is, being able to hold it. So if you want to have to hold it for 10 seconds to shut off, or hold it for 6 seconds. Looks like you got a few options here. Auto sleep, that's a big deal for me, because if I ever forget, I'm gonna change that right now. Let's go 8 minutes. I think 8 minutes would be good, you know, in case maybe I forgot to shut it off or something like that, and that way it's not running for half an hour or an hour. All right, so here's the part where you can change the certain characters that they have. So let's just double agent. The princess. Okay, I'm assuming this one's Leia, so let's just select that font, turn it on again. Whoops. Go back. So yep, that one's definitely Leia. So it's got her sound effects. It's got her blade color here. It's got the different sound effects for the clashing. And that is with the app. So again, the app is a big deal for me. A lot of these sabers are now coming out so that it is possible with this one. I'll put a link specifically down to this one for Damien Sabers, so you guys can check it out. And again, you can either go with the baselit RGB, or if you do want to go with the Xenopixel, I will say that they were pretty awesome to talk to. They were really nice. They reached out to me, and I said, you know, I would love to, and they let me pick out this saber to show for you guys. That design, let me know what you think in the description of this hilt, because this hilt is, I'm honestly just in love with this, the art that they put into this one. And again, I think this one would look cool both as a clean, you know, polished look, but with just that kind of, you know, worn and torn design. This one looks awesome. Thank you guys again at Damien Sabers for letting me have the chance to show this to you guys, both from me and BD1. We really thank you for checking out today's video, and if you did like it, of course, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not, go ahead and subscribe. And until next time, guys, may the force be with you.